the Mystic Intuitive Healer. I'm a spiritual coach, Reiki master, psychic medium, and an intuitive tarot card reader. And I'm so excited that you guys are with me today. We're going to be diving into what your spiritual gifts are, which is a really important topic. We all come into this life with spiritual gifts based on what we've accomplished and experienced in past lives. And one of the reasons I do this work is to help people awaken, heal, align, and grow. And if we know what tools are in our toolkit, we're better equipped to get into alignment and find our own place in the world, find our happiness, find our community. So I've got 3 piles here for you to choose from. I just randomly selected the cards, but they are going to give us kind of an indication. It'll be a starting point for what your spiritual gifts are. And spiritual gifts can include psychic abilities. Sometimes it includes aptitudes that we wouldn't necessarily even consider spiritual in nature or mystical or even gifts for that matter. But we are going to dive in a lot deeper and try and look at things from a new perspective. So what I would like you to do is take a minute to sort of pause, meditate, if you will, on the 3 piles I have in front of me and see where your intuition guides you. Our spirit guides, our ancestors, the universe in general is always talking to you. And it's just a matter of figuring out how they communicate with you. So for myself, when I choose a pile during a pick a card video, I typically will close my eyes. I will visualize the 3 piles or the 3 objects in my mind, and I'll see if anything stands out. If there's a particular color that jumps forward for me, or if I see a number or I hear a noise or anything that might draw my attention to a particular pile, and I go with that information. I find that it gives me more accuracy in the messages that come through that pile. And I've actually been really blown away with how accurate a pick a card can be. So that's why I'm sharing this with you guys today. So pile number 1 or group number 1 is represented here by this yellow jasper. Yellow jasper is a great stone, very protective, connected with your solar plexus. It can help to deflect negative energy. It can protect you specifically during spiritual work. And what I'm doing here with you guys, this divination session, is spiritual work. It can also be used if you're meditating. It can be a very helpful stone. Pile or group number 2 is represented by this hawk feather. I found this feather when I was out walking my dogs, and it really felt like a gift from the universe. I had been asking that my guides help me to find a feather that was unique. There's lots of pigeons around where I live, and it's not uncommon to find a pigeon feather, but I really wanted to find something that was unique and something that stood out. And the hawk is a really important spiritual animal for me, or spiritual bird for me. And when I found this, I just was like blown away. So that is group number 2. And then group number 3 is represented by this black kyanite shard. Black kyanite is a very protective stone. It also helps to absorb negative energy, and it can really help with cord cutting. Anytime we interact with another person, a energetic cord is created between us and that other person. Sometimes the energy that flows between us is positive, and sometimes it is negative. and black kyanite can help us to release what doesn't serve us anymore. So I will give you guys a second to select your pile, and I will see you in a minute. Hi, pile number one. Thank you for joining me. So this is your card that you selected. Like I said in the intro, this is just going to give me sort of a starting point for what your spiritual gifts are. So let's see what you got. You got Ritual. This is an amazing card, and it partners so beautifully actually with this yellow jasper. When I partnered everything, like I said, I didn't know which cards had been selected. I just intuitively selected 3 cards to use, and then I randomly placed the items with each card. And yellow jasper is often used as a protective stone during ritual and spiritual work. So this is telling me that you have a long history on a soul level of different religious or ritualistic practices from different cultures throughout time. And ritual is basically a series of steps that one takes to be able to connect with source, their spirit guides, ancestors. It's just a process of honoring and connecting that has sort of built up over time. There's many different types of ritual that you might have participated in the past, or you might feel drawn to at this time. Like tarot is a ritual for me. You might feel very drawn to, for some reason I'm getting like witchcraft. It could have something to do with candle magic just came to me, spell jars. You might feel really drawn to that. I'm definitely feeling a draw to earth energy, rituals with like plants. That you might be really interested in gardening, or even the preparation of food. I'm hearing made with love, made with love, made with love. And it's a process of ritualistically preparing a meal, really investing your heart and soul into it, which infuses it with love, which is a more nourishing and satisfying meal. That is ritual. Meditation is a form of ritual. There are religious practices and ritualistic practices that are not associated with religion from all over the world that every single one of us has participated in on a soul level, because I truly believe that we are infinite beings who have lived thousands of past lives, and we are on a process of evolving and growing and learning lessons, connecting back with these communities that we've been part of and the rituals that brought us comfort and understanding about our own being can really bring comfort to us in this life and help us to understand who we are. So I truly believe that if you are feeling drawn to a particular ritual, that you should lean into that. If it is part of a particular culture, then in order to be respectful, the best thing to do is to learn as much as you can about that particular practice, learn as much as you can about that culture, then take what you have learned and then create your own unique ritual that brings you that same sense of communion, that same sense of peace. There's no reason for you to mirror exactly what happened in the past. You just want to take this information to learn from it, so then you can reinvent yourself in this life. So open yourself up to what you feel your heart is calling. Don't be afraid. You can absolutely learn as much as you want to or need to about a particular practice, and take steps to integrate that into your life in a very respectful way that is not taking from that culture, but is adding to your life. I hope that that makes sense. Basically, we want to avoid any kind of cultural expropriation, but we also want to be able to honor these cultures and learn from the beautiful teachings that they have to offer the world. So there's a way to be able to find balance between those two. So don't be afraid by your interest in different rituals. All right, so let's get into what your spiritual gifts are. I've got this great deck that talks a lot about spiritual practices. It talks a lot about psychic abilities. So let's see, what is group number 1's spiritual gifts? What is group number 1's spiritual gifts? And this one wants to come out too. Okay. This gives us a nice starting point. All right, you got nature's healing power, be of service, soul connection, and ethical awareness. Oh my God, how amazing is that? The ethical awareness, I feel like it partners so beautifully with this nature's healing, being of service, and the ritual card, and everything that I was talking about when it comes to honoring other cultures, other spiritual practices, and being mindful of respecting the heritage, while also being able to integrate elements of that into our life in a balanced, ethical way. And it also seems like that energy I was feeling from earlier about you connecting with nature and plants and even food. You know, we can have ethical awareness about not only the spiritual practices that we participate in, but also where we buy products, how we engage with the people around us and the businesses in our community, how we engage with the earth and the natural environment around us. Ethical awareness of where our food comes from, ethical awareness of how our decisions are impacting our communities, how our decisions are impacting our environment. And it looks like you have a natural aptitude for that. So you might already be somebody who is very interested in the environment, and someone is interested in environmental law that just came to me. So you might also be really mindful of investing, paying a little bit more, but going to a farmer's market or going to the local grocers, you know, like paying like, you know, maybe 25 cents more for milk, but you're buying it from the variety store where you know that there's an actual family that has been running that business and sustaining their family through what they make with their small business. Like, we can make such a huge difference. And especially now with everything shifting and changing over the last 2 years with COVID, people don't feel satisfied with the life that they had been living. You know, we can give people a new opportunity to change their life and have a bigger impact on a micro scale if we ethically invest our resources in people's businesses and their dreams and help them on their journey, versus going to a big box store. You can order, say, a tarot deck directly from the artist, or you can invest in somebody's project on Kickstarter. All of that is important. Law is really, like, I mean, there's actually scales here. I think some of you might be interested in, I'm getting like armchair detective work, like somebody is interested in doing cold cases, that kind of thing. Just being aware, helping people who might be unethically in prison is what I'm getting. Looking at things from a different perspective, utilizing the skills and the opportunities and the resources around you to help somebody that can't help himself. That's really what I'm getting. And nature's healing power. You have the ability to feel the energy from the plants around you. You feel rejuvenated when you're in nature. You understand that plants, they can transmute energy. When you're feeling sad, when you're feeling frustrated, when you're feeling anxiety, you can shift that energy by going out and being in nature, meditating in nature. You understand that. I think that you've felt that way for a really long time. You've felt that way since you were a small child, which is amazing. And you can share that gift with others. For me personally, a big shift for me and understanding how plants could really enrich my life was when I started to add them to my environment. And the more I surrounded myself with plants, the calmer I felt. And it grew to a point where I felt like I was in a symbiotic relationship with them. And then that just grew from there. It was like I had a relationship with nurturing and taking care of my houseplants. But then that grew to me seeing that same beauty and union with all of the plants that are outside of my home, in my neighborhood, as I'm walking my dogs, having an appreciation for the beautiful flowers that someone has spent time cultivating in their garden. You see that, you understand the healing power of nature. And I think that through this, there is some sort of service that you're going to be doing. It has a partnership between the environment and how we can help reduce our own stress levels, as well as changing our lifestyle so we live in a more ethical way and bring more ritual into our life. This could be you learning to become a yoga instructor. This could be you teaching classes, say even on Udemy, or having your own YouTube channel where you're talking about how to ethically prepare meals or infuse them with love, talking about the energy around food. But you are destined to be of service and really connect with people on a deeper level. That is part of your spiritual gifts. There is an energy of healing around you where people feel like they are heard and supported. Like this person is helping to lift somebody else up, which then goes back again to this ethical awareness. There is somebody that is going to watch this video that truly has a strong connection with law and helping people that overturn convictions, false, unethical imprisonments, expunging records. It has something to do with that. And you have soul contracts. You have really important soul contracts where I believe that it has a lot to do with this being of service and this ethical awareness to help somebody overcome something, to help them. You've signed a contract with them to help them to rise above. This again could manifest in a bunch of different ways. I do still keep having these images in my mind come forward that have to do with prison population, whether maybe this is running a meditative class through people that have been released from prison or people that are in prison. This could also be social work of some kind. This could have something to do with, I'm also getting farmers markets and helping small businesses get something about getting back to the earth as well. So everything that I'm saying will resonate with you in your own unique way, but these are really, really powerful gifts. So let's keep moving and get some other cards out. So what can my guides tell me about pile one's spiritual gifts? What are pile one's spiritual gifts? Can you tell me about pile one's? What are pile one's spiritual gifts? Okay, let's see. Oh, interesting. Oh my God. Okay, so you got druid, the drum, and sage. This is so interesting because these are very, very ritualistic cards. The druids, the like Celtic priesthood, the druids originated in Wales, and it's bringing images of Stonehenge forward to me, a culture deeply rooted in the earth, connecting with nature. And it says, hold the space. And with this nature's healing power, and I was getting a feeling of connecting with the earth, witchcraft, druid culture, and divination is deeply connected with our concept of witchcraft. So that's really interesting. And the drum, dream and journey. This is a card talking about shamanism. And shamanism is the oldest religion in the world. It is absolutely connected with indigenous cultures, but it goes beyond just the indigenous cultures of North America. There are shamanic practices that are rooted in every single culture across the globe, and they all have their own unique ritualistic practices. But the drum, or that rhythm, is what is referred to as core shamanism. It is an element of shamanism that is found repeated in all of these different cultures. And the idea of the drum, it's like the sacred heartbeat of the earth. And that's why in a lot of guided meditations, they have sort of that rhythm, because it will easily help you to get into a theta state where your mind is free to sort of escape your here and now and get into a rhythm where you can connect with your guides, your ancestors, and source. It's what is referred to as a journey in shamanic tradition. So then partnered with sage, be devoted and committed, which is again a spiritual teacher. This is definitely indicating to me that you have a long history of ritual from various different cultures that have all informed you about how you can be of service, how you can connect with the earth, how to ethically connect with others. You are an old soul. You've had long-standing relationships with other people. I think that people have on a number of occasions said to you that they feel like they know you. You just have that energy about you. That is really, really exciting. So let's get a couple final cards to see what else we can find out about your spiritual gifts. What can my guides tell me about pile 1's spiritual gifts? Whoa. Okay, I think that's enough. Wow, okay. Wow. Okay, so you got a ton of different cards that came out here. You got defense, principle, revenge, innovation, enterprise, harmony, organization, status, discrimination, negotiation, and empathy. Okay, these cards are definitely talking to me about your past lives. I believe that, like I was saying before, you have been part of a organization, a community of people. This organization is talking about a group, a community, where you were in harmony with the earth. You got the harmony card. There's the sun's rays coming down, all of these beautiful bluebirds. The figure is just clothed in fig leaves. It's a very Garden of Eden type of image. And the organization card has the shafts of wheat, which is a symbol of harvest and abundance. And there's all these farm animals, and then the symbol of Mercury, which is messenger of the gods. So this is talking about, I believe, you being a spiritual leader in a community of people that were in union with the earth, really understood that the earth is speaking to you, that you have to be in balance with nature, that you, through the art of ritual, through listening and watching the signs of synchronicity, you can find pathways forward. You can get insight into what's going to happen in the future and find a very abundant path forward. But at some point through your soul's evolution, the tide sort of shifted. It looks like there was a change in the value system, not necessarily for you, but like, you know, kind of the world as a whole. And there seemed to be more of a focus on status, the defense card on war and power and getting revenge for things. You've got the revenge card here. And I think that you were kind of caught in the middle of all of this. and feeling quite powerless. You might even feel sort of powerless in your own life right now when it comes to this stuff. I have a feeling that you don't really understand why people value the things that they value. And it's because of the connection that you have with the earth. You can't just erase those experiences from your soul. And I think that you tried to hang on to those principles, those practices. You got the principle card, and you felt like you could utilize those skills and still be able to navigate through this world. Because with psychic abilities and the ability to sort of see the signs from spirit, you can get amazing insight into new innovations and enterprises. You got innovation and you got enterprise. You know, that your divination techniques, this is even like palm reading right on that card. And I think that you tried to hang on to those skills, and sort of negotiate between the two worlds. Like, what I am getting is almost like you were an interpreter. That's what I'm getting. You were an interpreter between two cultures. That you were part of an indigenous community and that you were interpreting for a outside force, whether that was part of, you know, colonialism or whether that was some other period of time. You were in between these two cultures trying to balance them, but ultimately you were discriminated against. There was no way that you were ever going to be able to convince this energy that was set on conquering that they needed to give up and divorce themselves for the unnecessary hunger for status and power and connect with the earth and have empathy for everyone. You got the empathy card. And ultimately, I think that things didn't work out for you the way that you wanted. I think you might have even been a martyr to a cause. And you might have some past life, like residual anxiety about certain things. You might have had some feeling like something in a past life didn't go well, that you might have lost your life unjustly. But that experience allowed you to have even greater empathy for others, which is what's leading you down this road where you're going to be able to use all of these skills. They don't go away. They just build and build and build and build life upon life to be able to really help some people that need your help. This ethical awareness, the soul connections, your connection with the earth, all of the abilities that you've had from these very deeply spiritual lives, helping introduce people to new forms of ritual. This is powerful stuff. Lean into it, you know, see where it leads you. The more you lean into it, the more you open yourself up to these gifts, the more you are going to have them increase, the more you will have them grow and expand. And honestly, I feel like the more you lean into it, the more you're going to remember past life energies. And past life trauma can sort of build life upon life upon life. We never learn a lesson in one lifetime. It takes time, right? And that's what we're here to do. We have time. I know it doesn't feel like we do, but if you don't learn a lesson in this life, you'll learn it in the next life. So there's always time, but you can really create something beautiful for yourself if you're ready to lean into it now. So I hope that this reading helped you. This was really fascinating. I was like so thrilled to be able to deliver these messages for you. If anyone is interested in having a personalized reading with me, a one-on-one, you can go to my website, odessamall.com, and book a reading or an energy healing or a spiritual coaching session where I do mediumship, all through my website. You can also find links to all of my other social media channels. I would love it if you followed me. That would be incredible. And if you like this video, like and subscribe so you can see the next video. My guides are telling me to tell you to click on the bell so you are always notified of new videos. So I hope to see you guys in the next Pick a Card. I hope you have a fantastic day, evening, whenever you are watching this, and I look forward to connecting with you again. Take care. Hi, pile number 2. Okay, so I've got your card here, and like I said in the intro, this is just gonna give me a launching point. It's just gonna sort of get the ball rolling for us talking about your spiritual gifts. So let's see what card you got. Communication. Oh my God. Okay, so when I picked these cards, like I said in the intro, I just randomly selected 3 cards. There is literally a pot of ink and an inkwell and like a feather quill, and it's got sort of stripe pattern on it, and like it looks so much like this hawk feather. That is incredible. That, like, I do this all the time and it never gets old. That is incredible. I love that. Okay, so now that I gathered myself, so communication, it's so interesting because when I see the word communication and I see this pot of ink with the quill, it makes me think of automatic writing. And automatic writing is a process of basically allowing your intuition to have direct connection to your higher self, source, your spirit guides, and you channel information, writing it down. It's like the words that are coming through onto the piece of paper aren't even coming from you. They are coming from some higher energy. And that is actually a strong symbol for the hawk, because the hawk is a symbol of looking at things from a higher perspective, and hawks were considered messengers from the gods. So that it's also connected with communication. I absolutely love that. So the P is talking about abundance. It can be an abundance of like material wealth, actual possessions, but it can also be an abundance of knowledge. This could be talking about you just what I'm getting is an ideas person. Like, you have amazing ideas and people are like, you should do that, you should do that, you should do this other thing. Like, they're all great ideas. You're going to be a millionaire. And you don't necessarily act on any of them not right away anyways, because you get so many of them. It's like you assume that everyone has the same abilities, and they absolutely don't. This card is number 2. You are in partnership with your higher self. They are giving you these ideas and basically saying, hey, embody these ideas on earth. There's the alchemical symbol for earth on this card. Take one and run with it. Do something with it. There are amazing works of art that have come through with this particular gift of automatic writing, this channeling technique. Like, so many songwriters have stories where they basically woke up and it was like out of a dream, they still could hear the lyrics of this song playing out in their mind and they just wrote it out. There are works of literature that are so beloved and were the result of automatic writing. Mary Poppins is actually one of those books where the author is well known for saying that she didn't create the character of Mary Poppins, that she just woke up one morning and the entire first book was there on her desk. That is an example. I'm getting goosebumps. And when I get goosebumps, my guides are like, yes, girl. Yes, that's right. So you have this ability as well. Like, lean into that. That is incredible. It doesn't matter what topic, how you want to utilize this gift. It doesn't have to be in a creative endeavor. You don't have to be writing songs or books. You might just have a natural aptitude for writing like legal documents, for writing legislation. You might have a natural aptitude for slogans. Like, there's lots of different ways you could be using this skill of communication. And, you know, for some of you, this might have a lot to do with divination. In general, you know, this might just be the starting point, but maybe you are tarot card readers. For some reason, I'm getting pendulums, like maybe you're interested in working with a pendulum. You know, yes or no questions. That's what I would recommend. If you're working with a pendulum, I would recommend just using it for yes or no questions, but it can be a great starting tool if you are interested in exploring more divination. You might also be a painter. You know, there's a lot of different ways this kind of like skill can be used, skill of communication and channeling messages directly from spirit. That is so interesting. Lucky you guys. Okay, so let's get into my psychic gifts deck. So this deck includes all kinds of psychic gifts and like spiritual gifts and different divination practices. So let's see, what spiritual gifts, does group number 2 have? What spiritual gifts does group number 2 have? Okay, you guys saw me shuffle the cards. Clairvoyance, the gift of clear sight. You are directly connected to your higher self. You are definitely psychic. You are definitely getting messages. And like the lotus right here, the lotus, like unfurling one petal at a time means every petal is a different idea. And this is partnered here with the yellow color of the solar plexus chakra, which is your center for personal empowerment. This is exactly what I was talking about with you get a lot of ideas. You don't necessarily take action on them because you assume everyone has all of these creative ideas just bursting out of them. And you don't see the people around you taking action on them. They don't have this gift. You do. You should absolutely choose whichever concept is coming to you that you feel the most passionate about and charge forward with this. You've got messages from spirit, clairvoyance, messages from spirit, communication. This is all telling me the same message, that you are, you are loved. That's beautiful. That's what that says there. I love that. I never even noticed that on this card. You are loved. You are very intuitive. You are getting very clear messages from spirit. You have a history of being able to interpret. You know, this card, like, we are all surrounded by messages that are coming from spirit every second that we are breathing. We get messages through our dreams. We get messages through our daily life. Some people refer to them as coincidences. I see them as synchronicities. They are messages that are coming through the environment, butterflies are often synchronicity, delivering a message of expansion and rebirth and regeneration, reinvention. And what I'm seeing with this card is there's all of these letters, just random letters. And for others, they see everything as random. Whereas you can see what the message is. You can see that these letters come together to form "you are loved." Utilize that. Whatever way that resonates for you. You know, it doesn't mean that you have to be a spiritual teacher, or you have to be a psychic, or you have to do spiritual work in a traditional sense. You can utilize this in many different ways, but you absolutely have a gift. You know, for me, for some reason, it feels like they just keep saying ideas person. Like maybe you will set up your own coaching business where you help guide people through the stages of setting up their own business by helping them to see the signposts, helping them to see where their own intuition is trying to guide them, like where their guides are saying are going to be opportunities for them, you know, like basically translate for them. And you know, there's a number of different ways you could do that. Like that, you could read tarot, for example. That is one of the things that I do on a daily basis. So let's see what else. I'm gonna continue with this step. What spiritual gifts do pile number 2 have? What spiritual gifts does pile number 2 have? What can you tell me about pile number 2's spiritual gifts? What can you tell me about pile number 2's? Okay. Oh my God. This is a very, very spiritual group indeed. Okay, you're extremely psychic. You got clairsentience. So this is the ability to have like a clear knowing about things. You can sort of feel it in your gut when something is truthful. You might feel like you are remembering information that somebody told you in the past. I also have these same psychic gifts, and clairsentience is one of my strongest gifts. And for me, how it manifests is that I really truly feel like I'm remembering a story that I heard from the past, or it's like an experience that I actually experienced. Like my guides, when they're communicating with me, will remind me of different events that have taken place in my life, and it urges me through this remembering of the past. You have the same gift, and not only that, you have inspirational mediumship, which is exactly what I was just talking about, where you might want to utilize your psychic gifts, talk to other people's ancestors, their guides, to find out what they're supposed to be doing in this life. Tapping into their past life energy, tapping into their spiritual gifts, their latent spiritual gifts, helping them to understand why they have certain aptitudes and how they can utilize that in this life to create abundance for themselves, build businesses. You know, basically it's like you are going to be able to inspire others, so then they can continue on to inspire another group of people, right? It's this domino effect. That is fabulous. I love that. You also got the card Breathe. And this to me, I feel like you probably have an ability to de-stress or connect with the earth, or possibly even get messages through the element of wind. Now, you might not recognize that you're getting messages from the wind. It might be that when you're outside in fresh air, you're able to clear your mind. It's like whoosh, all of these ideas come straight to you. You're connecting with the breath. You're connecting with the wind. You might want to start doing yoga, because yoga is all about connecting the breath with what we're physically feeling and embodying. But breathing and breath is really important. Maybe you are a yoga instructor. Maybe you are a meditation instructor. Regardless of how this manifests for you, being out in nature is a really clear way that you get intuitive messages. You got let's get grounded. And there is a dragonfly. Dragonflies are a symbol of messages from spirit as well. And this person hiking, again, it just adds to what I was getting here with the breath. You being able to clear your mind. I think that you use your time in nature to also sort of separate yourself and cleanse your energy. You release all that low vibrational energy, all of the stress that you accumulate in your aura, in your chakras, into the earth. You might not be aware that you're even doing that. Basically, it's a process of earthing. You might really like to take your shoes off and have your feet, your bare feet in the grass, and you feel really rejuvenated. It's because the earth is absorbing all of that low vibrational energy that you are carrying around, and the earth is then transmuting it and then releasing it as positive high vibrational energy, much like how plants, they absorb carbon dioxide and then they release oxygen. You are in balance, in union with the earth, and it helps you to expand on your psychic abilities, which you obviously have numerous of. So this is super exciting. Let's get a few more cards. I'd really like to know more about your spiritual gifts and maybe more about how you're supposed to use them in this life. What can you tell me about group number 2's spiritual gifts? What can you tell me about group number 2's spiritual gifts? Okay, lots of cards came out here. So let me organize these. All right. Okay, so the spiritual gifts that you have currently are kind of still waiting to sort of really expand to their fullest potential. It looks to me like you have worked on these skills for many, many, many different lifetimes. You got the innovation card, which is all about getting those intuitive messages from spirit that will give you these inspirational ideas that are unique to you, and basically be able to birth something new into the world. Now, in the past, this is talking a bit about your past lives and what is going on with your spiritual gifts. So it appears to me like in a past life, I think that you were an extremely psychic person. I keep getting Victorian period. I feel from these cards that you might have been what would be considered a mystic or a psychic, a medium, a tarot card reader in the past, and you were honest about your abilities. You were at that particular point in time, the Victorian period, they were really interested in the supernatural. Going to a seance was like very, very, very popular, but there were also a lot of people that invested a lot of time and energy into exposing these people as these different psychics as frauds. I think that you came forward, you shared your gifts. I think that you had a lot of publicity. I think you did very well for yourself. I think a lot of people came to you for guidance, and I think that you helped some very, very powerful people. There was a certain romance about you. There seemed to be like something unique about you, the way that you presented yourself. I think that you ran in a crowd of people that were artists and were writers and philosophers, and you got the romance card. I think that you sort of leaned into a way of life that sort of brought you out of alignment with who you truly are, this person that is connected to the earth, because you've got idealism and you've got lust and you've got domination and you've got quarrels, but also along with the publicity, romance, inspiration, and harmony and innovation. So this is really telling me that I think that you very earnestly wanted to help people. You really did want to use your gifts for good. And as you stepped forward and you started to work with people more openly and honestly, you fell into this crowd of people that their ideals maybe weren't in alignment with who you truly are on a soul level. You got sort of seduced by the romance of everything. You gave into lust. You gave into the pursuit of publicity. You gave into the idealism. This card always makes me feel like there is an element of narcissism. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you were a narcissist. It just means that you are giving into the ego a little bit. Like there is this person on the back of a donkey, and there is this nymph playing a lute, sort of leading this person away. But a donkey is also an ass. And spirit, in the form of this angel, is trying to pour knowledge down on this person, but they are being lured away by this imp. And so this is really like talking to me about you being led astray, led in the wrong direction. It brought you out of alignment. You stopped being able to get those intuitive messages clearly and directly. I do believe you had a natural ability, but as you became to more and more empowered and you gathered more followers is what I'm getting, others wanted to knock you off your pedestal. Domination and quarreling. These are those people I was picking up on that I think wanted to prove that you were a fraud. And you weren't. But the more we get out of alignment, the harder it is to really tap into our true gifts. And in this life, you get a chance to do it differently. In this life, you get to divorce yourself from this ego energy and really give back to helping people. being an inspirational medium to help them to get into alignment, to help them find innovation, to help them find inspiration, while also giving that to yourself and keeping yourself in harmony. This is beautiful. And you know, we're all here learning lessons. We don't learn a lesson all in one lifetime. We all have a history like this where we've fallen off our path, or we've succumbed to influences that didn't have our best interest at heart. Some of us are still doing that in this life, and that's okay. We're all going to get to where we need to be eventually. So let's dive into this deck. Let's see what else can your guides and my guides tell me about your spiritual gifts. What are group number 2's spiritual gifts? What can you tell me about group number 2's spiritual gifts? Can you give me one more card that tells me about group? Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is so interesting because you got the Oracle. Wait for important information. The Oracle, most closely associated when people hear Oracle, they think of the Oracle of Delphi, or at least that's what I think of. And that was a process where women of all different backgrounds, all different ages, would gather in the temple, and they would basically go into this meditative state where they would directly get messages from spirit, and they would be divine prophecies. So you are, oh my God, oh, whoa. These cards are amazing. You have the ability to get messages just like the Oracle of Delphi directly from spirit that talk about the future, what's going to unfold, how somebody can find abundance and success and find their most abundant path forward for their destiny. You know, we all have destiny and we have fate. Our fate is the weaving of our life based on the decisions that we make, that's interwoven with the obstacles that are placed in front of us. I hope that that makes sense. So basically, there are predisposed events that will take place in our life, and they are all scattered on a path. Now, based on what decision you make, you may or may not encounter some of those events, right? It's kind of like choose your own adventure. And your destiny is the most abundant path forward. So you can help people to find their destiny, that highest vibrational path forward. You also have the High Priest card. Like, wow, seriously powerful card. Not only that, there is a hawk on this card. I am like floored. This is amazing. I feel like I would cry. Oh my God. Like I said, this never gets old for me. You have a direct connection with very high level energies. This card is talking about the connection with spirit, the hawk bringing down that energy from source and all of those divine inspirations. And you've got the Merkaba here, sacred geometry. Like, this is powerful. Not only that, like, if that wasn't enough, then you've got the shapeshifter card, transform and unveil your gifts. And then there is an eagle also on this card. You have the ability to really shift your energies based on what is needed at this time. You can literally go into a meditative state and commune with animals. Like, you might want to look into shamanistic practices. There's many different forms of shamanism that are connected with almost every indigenous community throughout the entire history of the human race. Something might be calling to you. For some reason, they keep wanting me to say Egypt, Egypt, Egypt. So you might have had a calling drawing you to the mythology or the religious practices that were popular, predominant in Egypt. You might feel like you had a past life in Egypt that is really calling out to me. They keep saying the Eye of Horus, the Eye of Horus. So you might want to look into that as well. And this snake symbolism, the beginning and end, the never-ending cycles of life that the Ouroboros represents. I really feel like you've played this role in many different lives. And in indigenous shamanistic practices, they often talk about speaking with helping spirits. Sometimes it's referred to as animal totems, but basically it's a spirit that can be in the upper or lower worlds that presents itself in the form of an animal, so that we can understand the qualities that that spirit possesses. You can communicate with these helping spirits to get information that will help others. This is powerful. This is really, really powerful. I really encourage you to lean in, try and expand on these gifts if you aren't already using them. Like, for some reason, I feel like this is like my spiritual group. Like, you guys are psychics, you're mediums, you're witches, you're shamans, you are well versed in these kinds of energies. You're Reiki masters, you are, definitely spiritual, very, very spiritual people. I'm getting crystal healing. Somebody is a chef. Somebody is definitely a chef, infusing their food with knowledge. This is powerful. There's something about astrology, like the stars are really coming forward for me. The moon symbolism, there's stars in a number of these cards. Definitely lean into this. Try and, if anything, try and at least meditate and ground your energy. With all of these psychic abilities, you are absorbing information from people on a daily basis. You might not even be aware of that. I highly recommend you at least try grounding exercises. One of my favorites is to just sit in meditation. I envision roots growing out of the base of my spine into the earth, and just all of that foreign energy, any of the energy that is not my own, draining into the earth. And then I envision pure source energy pouring through my crown chakra and then revitalizing my system. So you can try that. There's tons of different guided meditations that you can find on YouTube that will help you with grounding. And I definitely think you should be working on shielding if you're not already doing that, just to keep your energy separate from others. And you can tap back into that gift when you are in a space where you're energetically balanced, and you can do that. So I hope that this reading resonated for you. This was really, really powerful. You have a lot of spiritual gifts. If any of you are interested in knowing more about your spiritual gifts, or you have any other questions, I do private readings. You can book a reading with me through my website, odessamole.com. All of my booking is done on my website. I don't do booking on any other platforms. And feel free to follow me on Instagram or Facebook. All the links are below. If you liked this reading, I hope that you like and subscribe so that you can see more videos from me. Hit the bell notification so you get notified when I upload something new. I really enjoyed connecting with you guys, and I hope to see you again in my next video. I hope you have a fantastic night or day, and I will talk to you, connect with you soon. Take care. Hi, group number 3. Okay, so I've got your card here. This is going to give me a starting point to talk about your spiritual gifts, and then we'll expand from there. So let's see what card you have. You have success. This is an amazing card. So it also says peppermint, and there's a key here, the alchemical symbol for fire, and the number 20. So there's a lot of information that's coming through this card. I believe that you have a natural aptitude for manifestation. You are able to set your mind on a goal, and you're able to manifest abundance for yourself. The key is talking about you unlocking doors for yourself. It might even feel like it is magic to other people. Like they don't understand how you're able to turn events around for yourself. The fire symbol is really making me think about the phoenix rising from the ashes. I believe that you're able to reinvent yourself, and when things turn sideways for you, you're always able to find a way out of that situation. Peppermint is often used for spiritual protection. It is a very healing herb. It's also associated with getting messages from spirit because it's connected to Mercury, and Mercury is a messenger from the gods. So you have strong intuition, you are able to reinvent yourself, you're able to find ways out of tough situations, you have a natural aptitude for manifestation and abundance, and you do this in partnership with spirit and your spirit guides. It's a gift that you learned over many, many lifetimes. I'm getting all of this from the number 20. The number 2 and in numerology speaks to partnerships. And the number 0 is talking about reincarnation and the ever unfolding cycles of life. So the two numbers together are, for me, speaking to the fact that you have worked in partnership with your spirit guides and source in general for lifetimes, cultivating these gifts so that you could have these abilities. So this is really powerful. Let's see what else you have in your toolkit. This deck has a number of different psychic abilities and spiritual gifts listed in it. So what spiritual gifts does group number 3 have? What spiritual gifts does group number 3 have? Wow, you have a lot. That one wanted to come out too. Okay, so I just said toolkit, and you literally got the medium's toolbox. That is so interesting. So this is really talking about you being able to get messages from spirit using a lot of different abilities. This could also, for me, it's also speaking to your ability to be able to gain psychic information through objects. If you hold an object, you might know who it belongs to or how old it is, or you might get flashes of the history of that item. Everything is made up of energy. We're all made of the same energy. In fact, the energy that makes up the objects around us is the same energy that makes up us. And it holds an imprint. In many different cultures from around the world, it's believed that there are spirits or soul energy that is embodied inside the objects. That's where the nature of a sacred object comes from. And if you can tap into that energy, you can get valid information and insight. Sometimes it's easier for people to tap into the energy of, say, a plant that we know is alive in a physical sense. It is alive. So if this is a gift that you feel like you might have an aptitude for, you might want to start with meditating on, say, a plant and see what information comes to you. Oftentimes psychic information, when it comes to us, it can resonate as our own thoughts, but with practice, you start to realize that there is more insight coming through to you from that information, from those meditative sessions, that couldn't possibly come from you because you didn't know it before you did that meditation. So it's something worth practicing. You also received intuitive walking. And this is talking about the ability to be able to get psychic information when you are out in nature, basically communing with the elements. And I just got nature spirits. There are various different layers of intelligence around us. Science is just starting to have a deeper understanding of how the universe is formed on an energetic level. So theoretical physics talks about how the universe could potentially be formed like an energy wave, like it's layered, layer upon layer upon layer. And within every one of those layers, there are different forms of life and intelligence. In some aspects and in some ways, you could think about like spirits of our ancestors, even in conventional thinking as far as like our religious afterlife goes. Heaven being another layer layered on top of this one. When you are out in nature, you are able to sort of tap into all of those different layers and get information about events that are taking place in your life, but possibly events that are taking place in other people's lives. You also got linking with spirit. Oh, wow, that's really interesting. So this is talking about you literally being able to blend yourself with a spirit intelligence. Now, some people consider this like physical mediumship, but it also could manifest for you. Like physical mediumship would be like basically a spirit taking residence inside your physical being for a limited period of time so that you can allow that spirit to speak to a loved one that is still on earth, right? So someone's relative basically speaks through you. But it can come in a lot of different ways. It could be that you feel physically the presence of a spirit. It's almost like an extension of physical empathy. You might actually feel them physically touching you. You just might get a sense of them being with you. And energy is not bound by time or space. So really, what is to separate, them from you? That is still up for debate. You have that ability. So you've got a lot of different abilities. Oh my God. You literally got another card that's talking about this ability. You got blending with spirit. Linking with spirit and blending with spirit. So this is a really strong aptitude for you. You can probably feel the energy of spirits in a environment. You are probably one of those people that can walk into somebody's home and you can instantly know if there's a spirit energy in the air. You probably even feel uneasy in certain places because you can feel the pain of those spirits that are still linked to their, basically they'd be referred to as earthbound spirits. There's various reasons why different spirits are earthbound. In some cases, they had a very traumatic death and they might not know that they are dead. In other cases, they might be still embodied because they were really connected to their personality in that life. You know, their personality might have accomplished a lot, and egoically, you know, their ego really doesn't want to let go of that life, and so they're choosing to stay on earth. But in some cases, some spirits are sort of left here by their guides in order for them to again learn another lesson. And the lesson in that case is to reach out and ask for help. If they weren't able to connect with people when they were alive and ask for assistance and help, they might be left as earthbound spirits where eventually they would be forced to ask a psychic person, a spiritual person, whether that is a psychic medium, whether that is a shaman, whether that is some other spiritual master, to help them to cross over. And you pick up on those energies because in past lives, you have practiced these skills of being able to see past the veil, to be able to connect with energies that are not in the physical. And you would be exactly the type of person that would be able to help these spirits cross over. So you might need to work on these skills to a certain degree. At this point, if you're not practiced in it, it might feel very scary because you might feel like the spirit energies have power to influence you or cause you harm or pain, especially since you are able to physically feel their pain, you are able to physically feel their touch, you are able to sense their presence. But ultimately, you are able to sense them because your role is to help them. And they cannot harm you in any way. That would be impossible. The only thing that they could do is influence you through fear. But it's your choice whether you lean into that fear and you allow it to influence your behavior or your decisions. I'm a psychic medium. I also feel spirit energies. And I will be honest, when I first started developing that gift, when I was a child, it was terrifying. It was very, very scary. And when my gifts started to expand later on in life and things physically were happening around me, like poltergeist type experiences, it was very, very unsettling. But I knew that I had to overcome the fear. And by standing my ground and standing in my authority and putting up boundaries and saying, no, you can't just come in here and try and spook me into doing what you want. And you can't demand my time and attention because you feel that you're entitled to it. I had to sort of set up like office hours for spirits that I was doing what I would refer to as pro bono work, you know, like they're not connected to a physical person in this life. Some of them died hundreds of years ago, but they need assistance. And I would say, okay, right now it's 11 o'clock at night and I am not going to help you right now, but I will be available tomorrow at 9 a.m. and we can do a crossing over. You have that same ability. And if there's spirits in your home that make you feel uncomfortable, bar them. Tell them that they have to leave, that you do not sanction them being in your home and they have to leave. Or tell them that they are not allowed to touch you or be around your children or speak to you in the middle of the night or whatever it is that's freaking you out. Tell them they can't do that anymore. You know, just like if it was like a neighbor that was, crossing your boundaries in some way, I would hope that you would express to them what you expect of them, or your children. Like, you set up guidelines of what you will agree to. And believe me, word will spread. The more you set up boundaries, the fewer issues you will have like that. So you also got the card Soul Connection. So you might actually want to go back and listen to pile number 2 as well, because this card also came out in pile number 2. This is talking about you. Oh my God, and the breath also came out. Oh my God. And clairaudience also came out. So this is definitely, in creative expression, is very much like another card that came out in pile number 2. So I definitely recommend you go back and listen to pile number 2. That is wild, because I shuffled that deck. Like, I literally put every single card separated when I went back to use this again, because obviously I'm using this in all piles. So this is very intentional that these cards would come out. But you have soul contracts that you have signed with other people, other souls. Some of those souls are embodied, alive, living people. Some of them are not. Some of these soul contracts are with souls that, and you've signed these soul contracts, these agreements of different interactions you would have hundreds of years ago. You're an infinite being. You never die. Like, every single lifetime is just building on the experience from the past. So some of these spirits that are freaking you out, you might actually know them. You just don't know that you know them. So be mindful of that. Be patient of that. Understand that they are probably in a lot of pain and a lot of confusion. You might have been hearing those spirits, right? You have clairaudience, so you have the gift of clear hearing, psychic hearing. You might even feel them around you. Breath on the back of your neck is coming to mind. And you can free yourself from those experiences and ground yourself if you can find yourself centered in meditation and ground yourself back to the breath. There's multiple different ways that you can meditate. You don't always have to sit in silence. You don't always have to clear your mind of all thoughts. You can listen to a guided meditation. You can go on a walk, right? These intuitive walks where you're connecting with nature. The breath is also connected with connecting with the wind, the element of the wind. And so much psychic information can come to us through the element of the wind. It's almost like you don't realize that you are getting this psychic information through the wind, through walking around. But it's basically, you go outside, you're clearing your mind, but it's like your thoughts just are so crystal clear and sharp, and you have all of these answers and new insights and ideas. It's because you're connecting with that element of the wind, which again is centered on this clairaudience. So that's really interesting. And creative expression also really connects back to pile number 2, where the message in that pile was talking about using your psychic abilities to help others find their voice, get insight into what will be their most abundant path forward, right? Your primary gift is helping people and yourself create success and abundance. You, through partnership with spirit, some of those might be earthbound spirits, some of those might be celestial beings, you know, angels, elemental energies. These are non-corporeal, they have no physical form. Energies that are ancient, that are around us, that mystics have been connecting with since the beginning of time. You, throughout those lifetimes, your past lives, have developed these skills, and you can tap into that to find creative ways of expressing yourself in this life, utilizing these skills, as well as helping others. So this is so amazing, so fascinating. Let's get some more insight into what your spiritual gifts are. So can my guides and angels please tell me what spiritual gifts do pile number 3 have? Let me get that in a second. What spiritual gifts does pile number 3 have? Okay, wow. Oh my God. There's repeating messages coming out. Wow, oh my Lord. Okay, you got some really powerful cards here. So let's see. Oh my. Okay. Where am I going to start? So you got White Witch, be the light. And the owl here is talking about getting those intuitive messages from spirit. Owls are often connected with the gift of foresight, seeing into the future. And the White Witch connects with all of the elements of the earth. So that is fascinating. You definitely have a strong history working with the elements of the earth. I'm getting herb magic. I think that diving into maybe even growing a herb garden or looking into natural medicine might really resonate with you. Aromatherapy is coming to mind, so you might want to look into that as well. Let me put that up here. You got the Sage, and this also came out in one of the other piles. I am not sure if this was pile number 1 possibly, but this is definitely talking about you having a history in past lives of being very spiritually minded, learning skills, definitely using divination practices. And this Sage is writing on this leaf, and pile number 2 was also talking about automatic writing and connecting with spirit and channeling messages. Definitely go back and listen to pile number 2. And then Mirror Guardian, take time to reflect. This is definitely talking about you having spirit energies on the other side of the veil, angelic energies, ancient energies that are watching over you. And the abilities that you have in this life are mirroring lifetimes that you've had in the past. This also might be suggesting that you might want to think about doing some mirror divination. One form of divination is looking into a mirror or possibly a bowl of water by candlelight and just seeing if you see any images in the water. And when I say that, I'm like, you're in the ripples in the water or in the reflections in the mirror. Is it bringing to mind the thought of a particular number? I'm not necessarily saying that you are going to see a full vision like a movie playing out in front of you. Some people have that ability. I'm not taking that off of the table. You might be able to do that. But it might be more a tool that sort of sparks your intuition. Just let your thoughts fly and see where it goes. A lot of what divination practices bring to the forefront are rooted in our associations, right? So just see what associations come forward for you. There are no wrong answers. Every single piece of information that comes forward to me is custom tailored by my guides for me, so that I will come to the conclusions that they want me to come to, right? It's a unique language. And if you have a different association, say with the owl, than what I've described, go with that. Go with that. You are right, because it's a unique language to you. And I'm going to give you the insights that I see based on what my associations are, but never discredit anything that comes to you. Then you also got spring. See your seeds grow. And I believe there was another, there was this, you've got the spring with the hare. The hare is also a symbol of abundance, because rabbits coming up in the spring have tons of babies. So that's a symbol of abundance. The spring is also typically a symbol of abundance because it's renewal and rejuvenation. Then you've got the spirit of the fox. Trust your talents in changing times. Oh my God, I was talking to you about the energy of the fire element and how you have this energy of rising from the ashes. This is talking about you being able to really work with the energies around you and find ways out of tight situations. The fox traditionally is linked to trickster energy, right? But the trickster energy, I think, gets a bad rap because there's still a lot of belief in positive and negative being associated with good and evil. And there really isn't any true good or evil. There are positive and negative energies at play around us, and every energy that is at play in our life has a purpose. Even if it's painful, it's designed to help us grow. The pain inspires us to change things. If nothing was painful, we would never change anything. So the trickster energy might be uncomfortable, and especially when it comes to working with spirits, because sometimes they're not nice. You know, that's the reality. Sometimes they're not pleasant to be around, but there is a reason for it. If your guides are allowing that energy through, it's to help you learn some sort of lesson. And the fox is also very inventive and is able to find its way through tough situations, right? Like a fox finding its way through the fence into the hen house. You have that same ability to sort of like sneak through tricky situations, which is fantastic. It's partially what you have learned from these past lives. You got hunter, track down your fears and desires. I think that's directly linked to this energy of the trickster spirit that I've been picking up on. If something is coming forward and it's frightening you because of your spiritual gifts, it's being allowed to be part of your orbit. You are being sanctioned to pick up on this energy to overcome your fear. You are a warrior. You are strong. You have overcome so many obstacles in your past life. If you could remember all the different personalities and roles that you've played in past lives, you would see how powerful you really are. You have been part of every culture and you played every role. You can now lean into that. There's a reason why you have these abilities, because you really have dived into the darkest depths to face your fears in the past and cultivate these skills. And you can tap into that now too. Be that hunter. You also got snake, shed your old skin. And this energy is all about rebirth and shedding the old, shed the old associations you have with yourself. Shed all of the things that you believe about yourself and that you hang on to, because they may not be truthful. You know, you might have negative associations with your gifts, feeling like you might be vulnerable to psychic attacks is what's coming to me. But you are more powerful than anything that you might face. And you are not only protected by these guardians, but you are a steward of the earth, animal guardian. Trust your instincts. The instincts that are coming through to you are coming from benevolent spirits. This card is showing an image of an angel that's very rooted in the earth. We've talked about your connections with the earth's energies. This owl is coming out, and it's once again, and it's right at her crown chakra, getting messages from spirit. And all of these different animals are representing animal guides. You know, in shamanic circles, it would be referred to as an animal totem. But animals in our meditative state are often just a mask that a benevolent spirit is showing us so that we feel comfortable, and they have wisdom based on their own experience as they evolve their own soul that partners back to the qualities of that animal. So maybe start doing some guided meditations where you try and connect with animal spirits, and maybe even try and connect with the fox spirit, the trickster, and see what comes through. Ask Fox what he or she has to show you or teach you. You might gain some really, really insightful information about how you can better utilize your gifts and how you can manage some of these tougher energies that might have been at play and frightening you. You know, it's a fact. It can happen. It does happen. And it's just something that we have to work through as spiritual people that have these kinds of gifts. So let me see if there's anything else that my guides and angels can tell me about your spiritual gifts. Group number 3. What else can my guides and angels tell me about your spiritual gifts? Okay, so we've got some really interesting cards here. Oh, wow. Oh my God. Okay, first of all, you are an extremely powerful psychic. This card showing the open doorway with the sun and the moon, the divine masculine and the divine feminine, the night and the day. You are able to see past the veil. You are able to connect with spirit energies. They're saying to me throughout time. That means that you're able to truly tap into the Akashic records. You are probably able to connect with spirit energies from other time periods, like if you went to say a famous location, you might be able to tap into the spirit echo, if you will, of an earlier time period for that place. So it's not necessarily like there's an actual earthbound spirit that's like haunting the place. It's like you can feel what it felt like to be in a certain location, like the Eiffel Tower when it was first built. You can feel what that energy feels like. That is powerful. That's really interesting. Through this ability, this psychic ability that you have, there are divine secrets from many, many different cultures that are locked inside your own mind. And if you can open yourself up to your devotional practices, this is basically saying if you can lean into your gifts and you can look at both the darkness, there's the moon and the sun, look into the light and allow your intuition, allow your guides to guide you, like the sailors were navigated by the stars. Allow your intuition to guide you through both energies so that you can really see the truth of your gifts, so that you can have these secrets revealed to you. At this point in time, you are sort of isolating yourself from your gifts. You're pulling back. You might even be pulling back from sharing this with other people. Now, partially, we're all in isolation, right, because of COVID. But if you can allow yourself to sort of be excited by it, you've got the excitement card, and maybe even find a flirtation, you got the flirtation card, with some of these abilities. Basically get infatuated with your own abilities. Lean into that. Get excited about it. And you will build a positive momentum. You can utilize different skills to protect yourself. Like, I didn't even think about this. Like this stone, if you don't have black kyanite, I highly recommend you get a piece. Or you could also use black tourmaline. This is black tourmaline. These are protective stones that will create an energetic barrier around your aura to protect you from low vibrational energy. You can end up feeling very drained, not only by people, but also by spirit energy. Black kyanite can help cut cords with people that have negative attachments to you. And all you have to do is have it near you. Like, I keep a piece of black tourmaline and a piece of black kyanite just next to my bed so that it can do its work while I'm sleeping. You could get a piece of jewelry and wear it with you, or get a tumbled stone that wouldn't be damaged in, say, your purse or your bag or your wallet or your pocket. Allow yourself to start experimenting. There's different ways that you can also protect yourself. Like when I'm doing divination, I always have a candle lit. I utilize incense to clear my space, smoke cleansing, or smoke clearing. This is dragon's blood incense that I use. My crystals, you can use sound clearing by playing even a recording of a Tibetan singing bowl or a crystal bowl. All of that will help clear out the energy in your space. And I'm being asked to tell you to participate in your own ritual baths, like salt baths. They can be very cleansing for your energy. You only have to put in like a 1/4 cup of salt. Any kind of salt will work. Sea salt is what I would recommend, but if you only have table salt, that works as well. Just pour that in the bath water and soak. I promise you, you will feel dramatically different. And whenever you're starting to feel like sort of heavy or like brain fog, and you can't necessarily associate it or connect it with a particular event that's taking place in your life, even if you can, have a salt bath. I literally have salt showers every single day because I don't always have time to soak in the bath, but I can put soap on a loofah and put some sea salt on that soap and mix it in together and do a cleanse of my aura that way. So if you don't have time for a bath, try a salt shower. It can really, really help. So this was an amazing reading. I hope you found it helpful. You have so much to share with the world. Like, there are people literally waiting for you to step into your power so you can help them. And definitely go back and listen to pile number 2. There was a lot of connections between the 2 piles. And if any of you are interested in working with me directly, possibly doing a spiritual coaching session where I can help guide you to develop your spiritual gifts further, or a Reiki session to clear your energy. I also do mediumship as well as tarot card readings. You can look at my website, odessamal.com. I do all of my booking through my website. I don't utilize any other platforms for booking, but you could also follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And if you wanted to subscribe to my channel here on YouTube, that would be amazing. If you enjoyed the video, like, and if you subscribe, hit the bell notification so you get reminders of when I upload new content. It was a pleasure doing this reading for you. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to connecting with you again in the future. Take care.